Welcome to the presentation on the community analysis of Hudson, Florida. We will take a look at the historical overview, community structure, population, health-related resources, environment, government, community needs, and global issues. The first settlers arrived in Hudson in 1868. Among the earliest settlers were the pioneer Hudson family, who left Alabama in 1868 in a caravan of covered wagons. Isaac Hudson and his family moved to Hudson between 1877 and 1878. Hudson was frequently the landing place for Confederate blockade runners when the Federal Navy had all of the principal ports on the coast closed during Civil War. It was suspected that Hudson was a rendezvous for rum runners and smugglers during that time. In the late 1800s, fishing became the main business of Hudson. Between the First and Second World War, Hudson had an important sponge fishing industry, using several boats and employing quite a number of men. Today, Hudson still remains a small town. However, there has been steady growth in the population and economy. Although Hudson is a small community, it has a strong structure that provides for the needs of its residents. The need for school, healthcare access, and major highways are just a few of the needs being met by the community. In comparison to nearby communities, Hudson lacks in structure such as its own community college. However, access to nearby colleges such as Pasco Hernando Community College in Newport Richey and St. Petersburg College in Tappan Spring are only a short commute. There were a few differences noted in Hudson when compared to nearby communities. For example, public transportations are available in Hudson, but only serve the east and busiest side of the community, making it difficult for those living in more rural part of the community. What makes this community unique is the low cost of living compared to the rest of the state. That's one of the reasons there is a constant influx of retirees in the Hudson area. One issue that was seen with regards to structure of the community was the lack of sidewalks and pedestrian crossing. During the community assessment, there were a few areas of concern, particularly with the population. First is a high number of homelessness in the Hudson and Pasco area. According to PolitiFact 2013, Pasco County has second highest homeless population in the state of Florida. Also of concern was the poverty level, registering at 16.9 in Hudson, 14.6 in Pasco, and 15.7 in the state of Florida. Hudson also fell short in the number of high school graduates. 17.2% holds a college degree compared to 21.4 in Pasco County and 27.3 in the state of Florida. It is no surprise that Hudson has a high percentage of elderly population given the affordable retirement cost and housing. The community provides several nursing homes and home health service to its residents. One of the concerns noticed while driving was the lack of parking space and disability parking to serve that particular population. Hudson is served by the Bayonet Point Medical Regional Center, which is part of the Hospital Corporation of America. The hospital provides a range of services with the exclusion of maternity care. The hospital is easily accessible just off US 19 and Hudson Avenue. It provides services not only to Hudson, but nearby communities or anyone requiring medical assistance. Within the hospital is the Financial Assistance Department. The department is responsible for assisting patients who have difficulties in maintaining their medical financial needs. In addition to Bayonet Point Hospital, there are other medical facilities such as rehabilitation centers, walk-in clinics, mental health facilities, and assisted living facilities. These facilities accept most healthcare insurance, but they will also work with patients who are unable to meet their financial needs by setting up payment plans. Hours of operation varies from hospital and urgent cares. They provide care 24 hours a day, whereas doctor's office, are typically open within normal hours, Monday to Friday. The three objectives from Healthy People 2020 selected are cancer, heart disease, and older adult. Cancer is one of the leading causes of death in Hudson and Pasco County. It ranks 16.9% above the national average. Heart disease is the second leading cause of death in Hudson. Given the large percentage of older adults currently living in the area, older adult takes the third spot. Environmental resources such as water supply, sewage disposal, and recreational activities are adequate for the small community of Hudson. Water supply and maintenance is provided by Waterworks in Hudson, and sewage disposal is provided mainly by privately owned company. Unfortunately, in 2015, Hudson did experience some improper disposal of sewage. That resulted in a high bacterial count in the water, forcing the beach to be closed. In terms of recreational activity, the Veteran Memorial Park sits on 49 acres of land right off Hicks Road in Hudson. The park provides both indoors and outdoors activities to the residents. Activities include dance classes, swimming classes, and gymnastics. Additionally is the Sunwest Park over in Hudson. This park provides activities such as kayaking, paddleboarding, and even movies on the beach. One area of concern that was noticed during the windshield survey was the lack of pedestrian crossing or crosswalk on a whole for the residents. As a result, a lot of people were seen jaywalking. That's dangerous not only to the person, but to the community as a whole. Given that Hudson community is such a small community, it does not have its own government body. However, Hudson does have one representative at the local level who sits on the Pasco County Board of Commissioners. The Pasco County Board of Commissioners consists of 5 members who were elected by the county's citizens. The Board of Commissioners is responsible for appointing one administrator. The administrator's responsibility is primarily record keeping. Also appointed by the Board of Commissioners is the county's attorney. The attorney office is responsible for providing legal advice and representation to the Board of County Commissioners and its employees. Meetings are held every other Tuesday and is open to the public. The budget is listed on the county's website. The budget details all the income and expenses of the communities. 6 of the community issues which were noticed during the community assessments are the growing population within the Hudson community. While Hudson is still a very small community with roughly about 15,000 people, there's been steady growth. Currently, there are a number of new builders establishing new communities. Within those communities, or with a growth in the population, there's going to be a need for additional facilities like health facilities and recreational facilities. So awareness should be made to the growing population and anticipate the need for that population. Second on the list is public transportation. While there was public transportation available in the community, it was very limited or very localized to just one section of the community. Again, given that within Pasco and Hudson there is a high number of elderly, we have to take into consideration, or consideration should be taken, that some of these people may not have private transportation and rely on public transportation for trips to the hospital or to doctor's visits. Crosswalk was another issue that was noticed. There were very few crosswalk, and as a result, a number of people were seen jaywalking. That is very dangerous. Smoking is far from the least in terms of community issues, and that should be brought to awareness should be made of that, mainly because cancer is the leading cause of death within that community. Therefore, it's imperative that educational material and other resources be made available on smoking cessation. Fifth on the list is alcohol. Alcohol, and third, feeding the elderly. Again, with the population being mainly 65 and above, awareness should be made, or it should be taken into consideration, the well-being of these elderly and whether or not they can care for themselves, and if not, what means are available and can be provided to them. In terms of global issue, poverty is of concern not just locally but globally. While poverty is a global issue, it is an alarming rate over in Pasco County, particularly among the older population. It was estimated that 16% of the population ages 8 to 64 lives below the poverty line within Pasco. Community resources such as free meals are provided by organizations such as Feeding the Elderly within that community. There are also local organizations that provide shelters for the homeless, such as the Metropolitan Ministries. Globally, there are organizations such as Global Poverty Action Fund and UNICEF who provide financial assistance and food to the underdeserved or underserved countries. A community health nurse can identify these issues within a population by doing a thorough assessment of the patient and working along with social services to allocate resources in providing help for that particular patient and the patient's population.